Hello and welcome to another episode of my Productivity Mastery series. My name is Pullein and today we are going to look at the structure of a task manager. Now, in a task manager, there are three parts that you really need to be concerned about. The first part is the inbox. Now, this is the dynamic part of a task manager because your inbox is where you are collecting everything that you need to remember throughout the day. For example, you're going to remember to call your partner, you'll remember to call your parents or your brother or your sister, or you may need to remember to send an invoice to a client or send a receipt to a client. For those kind of things, you just throw them into your inbox, and that's happening throughout the day. Now, at the end of the day, you need to be able to go into your inbox and not necessarily process it completely, but at the very least, scan your inbox for anything that you may have missed that needs to be done that day, and also to make sure there's no fires beginning in there of things that you probably need to act on today, or at the very least, first thing tomorrow morning. Now, the second part of your the second part of your task manager is the storage area. Now, the storage area is basically, it depends on what task manager you're using. I know Apple Reminders calls it lists, Todoist call them projects, others call them folders. Now, basically, this is the holding pens or storage area for all the tasks that you've processed from your inbox and decided what needs to happen, and more importantly, when it needs to happen. Now, how you organize this area is really up to you. Now, I advocate that people keep things simple and organize by time, and that would mean tasks that are going to need to be done this week go into this week's folder. Tasks that don't need to be done this week but probably need to be done in the next 10 days or so would go into next week. And then we've got this month for tasks that we're not entirely sure when we're going to do them, but we know we need to do them this month. Next month for tasks that just don't need to be done until next month. And then we have long term and on hold. And those are the tasks that, well, I need to do them sometime, but right now I don't have time. This is how the task manager helps you manage your time better, because if you put all tasks that need to be done this week in your this week folder, you now have a place where you can prioritize what needs to be done. Because most people start to believe everything needs to be done right now, right here, and that is just how we become overwhelmed. We have way too many tasks that we're trying to get done in such a short period of time. You're a human being, you're not a machine, and we have to take that into consideration. We get tired, we get fatigued, we get pulled off and distracted by other things. So we need to get realistic about what goes into our this week folder. But that's for another video. But the idea is we organize it by time. Now, other people prefer to organize it in David Allen's method, which is getting things done, which is by context. Now, context could be any task that I need my phone for goes into my phone list. Anything that needs to be done in the office gets put in my at office list, and so on. So you have lists based on your context, where you're going to be, what you need, i.e. computer or phone, or who you're going to be with, i.e. your partner, your boss, your colleague, etc. That's another way, that's the GTD way of organizing your list. And of course you can organize it by pretty much personal and work, which is a really simple way. So any task related to work goes into your work list, any task related to your personal life goes into your personal list. Now, one way I would advise not to organize your project lists or your areas or folders is by project. Now, the reason I say this is simply because, according to David Allen, and in my experience is actually quite true, most people have between 30 and 150 projects on at any one time. Now, it does depend on how you define a project, but projects are generally defined as any task that requires 2 or more steps is a project. Well, with that kind of definition, you can have hundreds of projects. And that now makes processing that inbox almost impossible because you've got way too many choices. And so now you're coming up against the philosophy of the paradox of choice, where too many choices, you just end up I haven't got time for all this. I'll just dump them in here. I'll find them later. The trouble is you probably won't find them later. And with that many projects, you've just given yourself a 2 to 3 hour weekly planning session every week, which in my experience, nobody does, or very, very few people do. What you want to be doing is trying to help yourself by looking at the tasks in terms of, well, when am I going to do this? Or what do I need to do this? This is a much better way of organizing all those tasks that you've processed from your inbox. And now the third part of a task manager is what I like to think of as the business end. This is the bit that really matters on a day-to-day basis, and that's your today list. Now, I know Microsoft To Do calls it My Day. Todoist just calls it Today. I think actually Apple Reminders, most task lists will call it Today. Now, if you're organizing things in the right way and you are actually dating tasks that really matter to be done this week, then your today list will take care of itself. This is how the digital task manager helps you, because it also pretty much does the job for you. And what I mean by that is, if you're doing the weekly planning session, you will date the tasks that need to be done next week. And you date them maybe on a Monday, some on Tuesday, some on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, etc. So really, given if you're processing your inbox each day and moving tasks that need to be done this week into your this week folder, giving it a date when you're going to do it, your today list will always be relevant. Those are the only tasks that you need to take care of today. So when I woke up this morning, I looked at my task list for today and I saw, oh, I need to record these videos. I didn't have to go hunting around for anything and just to double check all my project list to see if I've got everything covered, because I trust that I do my weekly planning session. I also give myself 5 to 10 minutes at the end of the day just to double check that one folder this week, make sure that the tasks that I have assigned for today are still relevant and I have enough time to do it. My life is just so much simpler because I'm not having to worry about missing anything. And one big giveaway is helping people to become better organized and more productive. When I'm coaching people and I'm going through, when they're showing me their task manager, I can see immediately whether they're doing that all-important weekly planning session because of where they're trying to decide what to do today. If you're going into that organization area, the projects, the lists, folders, whatever, and trying to select tasks from there on a daily basis, it tells me you've not done a weekly planning session. That is just an organization area. The main area that matters on a day-to-day basis is your today list. Those are the tasks that you've decided need to be done today, and you need to get on and do them. The sooner you start, the sooner you will finish. And so that's something that when you're building your task manager, or even rebuilding your task manager, keep in mind those three areas. The inbox, the dynamic area that's moving all the time because you're adding tasks throughout the day. Your holding pens, your organization area, that's the projects or the lists or the folders, whatever your task manager calls them. That's for the tasks that have yet to be done or yet to be decided when you're going to do them. And then the business end, the area that really matters on a day-to-day basis, which is your today list. Now, if you're doing that 5 to 10 minutes at the end of each day, clearing that inbox, processing your tasks, making sure that tasks that you've assigned that are due to be done this week are dated, then your today list will take care of itself. It's automatic. It's like you've got a personal assistant saying, okay, you've decided that these are the tasks you've got to do today, and they're all filtered out and they're all ready for you to get started. So I really wanted to put that together because I see so many people struggling to get a task manager to work for them, and then they overcomplicate it and it becomes a complete mess, and they say, I'm overwhelmed, or this task manager doesn't work for me, so they go and find a new one. That's never the problem. The problem is you're overcomplicating the task manager. Remember, it's a task manager, not a project manager. Project managers are very expensive and very, very complex and way complicated for me and for what I need to know. When I start my day, the only thing I need to know is, what do I need to do today? I don't want to be looking through my folders for stuff to do. I need to have made that decision so I can hit the ground running and get my work done so I can spend more time with my family. Okay, well, thank you so much for watching this video, and it just remains for me now to wish you all a very, very productive week. Hello, thank you very much for watching my videos. Now I have something exciting to tell you about. Recently I have developed a brand new time management system. It's a system designed to manage your time in the 21st century. The world has changed a lot over the last 20 years. In fact, it's actually changed a lot this year. And what we need now is a system, a time management system that is very easy to use, easy to maintain, so that you can spend more of your time doing the work. And that's what the time sector system is all about. It's going to change your whole belief system about the way a time management system should work, because this focuses on when you are going to do the task. And let's be honest, it doesn't matter how motivated, inspired, or how urgent something is. If you don't have time to do it, it is never going to get done. And that's what this system is built around, getting your work done so you can spend more of your time doing the things that you want to do. I hope you join me in this course. The full details of the course are in the show notes below, so please join me, and thank you very much for watching this brief video.